Hello, everyone. Welcome to Progress Junior Golf Live Sport and the Golf Ambassadors. And this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, Steve. How are you? A little bit shaky today with the old internet, aren't you? A little bit fuzzy over there.
Yeah, we need to have a word with my internet so they can sort. Can carry on at the moment.
Are we in a tunnel?
Probably, yes. Yes. Now, this cast is all about junior golf. Hopefully, you can hear me. It's about restoration offers. It's about getting boys and girls playing a game of golf. This is the 23rd Junior Golf Podcast, and this evening we'll be doing something very special, a special report on a special tournament, the Faldo Series Grand Final 2022, plays at Airline Question Shooting in Golf Club UAE last week. I was there to take photos while Ian, who's covered.
Hang on, Steve. Hang on. Let me just have a look. I'm still looking for the invite. I'm still Matthew. If you're watching, I don't know if it got lost in the post, but I never got the invite.
What's going on? So yes, Ian wasn't there, but he knows all about it because he was there at last year's final, and of course you covered it. It's a big competition, so I think it's possible. I think we need to cover it. We need to do a little more detail exactly how you're playing it, and obviously what happened in the grand final because it was a big event. Now we can talk about it, but we need people to come on the show and obviously talk about it in a little bit more detail. So we have got players who played in the grand final. We've got Max who's coming live on the show, and also a pre-recorded interview with Anna Dudley, and let both of them do very well in the tournament as well. So they'll obviously be talking about their experiences there as well.
I'm also delighted to say Max Weaver's signal is a lot better than yours.
Yes, which is not a comparison by the sounds of it. So, right, we can just play with this. Let's do the job news then. Let's do it. Now, big event took place as well last week. Justin Rose Daily Telegraph Championship took place in Portugal. Winner of that competition, boys and girls. Winner that was the boys was Dylan Shaw Radford. I think we might have a photo of the winners of that competition. There you go. Dylan Shaw Radford. He shot 69, 69, 70. He's from Huddersfield Golf Club. Second place was Jack Lee, who shot 72, 70. And Shaw Radford there. Great for him. He's won the English Boys Championship, he won the Scottish Boys Open, and he also won the Henry Cooper Masters. So that's 4 points in this year. On the left hand side there, Brocky also won 68, 72, 74. She won by 2 shots from Rebecca Gardner from Ireland. Once again, Rebecca, another player having a fantastic year. And I think she won the English Girls Championship and also the Bridget Jackson Bowl. She won by 2 shots in this competition as well. Now, other events, not necessarily junior events, but involve in junior players. European Challenge Tour then. So, Tom McKimbin from 19 years old in Ireland, he qualified to play in the DP World Tour because he finished the European Challenge Tour and the hit him there. Absolutely. Footsteps of glory. I think he's the English team. Rory McIlroy, right, I've heard of him, but there we go.
Is he a live golfer? Does he play on live? If he don't play live golf, I won't know.
To be fair, we will come to live golf in a second, so hold fire on the digs because I'll be to you. So, ladies golf, another team that's doing really well. Germany, Chiara Norja, 16-year-old, she should play ladies European because she finished second on the T axis here. So, well, tour event as well, which into we do a lot of work with them. The out final, that's qualified this week, Italy. A player who's been mentioned in the podcast on our friend Sam. He's one of the players who's playing that, so good luck to Sam. Other side of the States, the player, it's not yet anyway. Notoi Bege Junior Golf National Championship took place at Casata Pine in Louisiana. A player by the name for Charles. I don't know if you've heard of him or not.
No, I don't. Charlie.
Well, he's down for
him. He's all right. I've heard he's all right. He's all right. He's good.
Yeah.
Good lad. Good
well,
golfer,
I've actually got the results because it finished today. He finished 11th place in the under 12s competition. 1 under 5 finish over 3 rounds with a winner. Wow, what about this for scoring? 64, 66, 68. A lad called Cole Kim, 15 under par. Probably to watch out for in a few years to come.
By the way, Steve, let's just touch on that. How difficult must it be for Charlie Woods? Like, how tough must that be? You know, like you just rock up and everybody just wants to watch you. Like, you know, that's got to be tough, isn't it?
Absolutely. So you can't play the caddy, can you?
I don't know. I heard. Yeah, I don't know if he could bend it, pick the clubs out of his back, could he?
Yeah, did he have to carry his clubs around? Right. Big event or big state-of-the-art centre of excellence been opening up in Scotland, the Stephen Gallagher Foundation. We've got a photo of the opening day. This took place at Kingsfield Golf Centre just outside Linlithgow in Lothian. The people who helped to open it. PGA Tour Pro Bob McIntyre was one of those who attended there, but lots of some big names there. Well done to everyone. They're doing a lot of great work for junior golf up north of the border. So yeah, absolutely. I mentioned golf a little bit. Let's just place to Lee Westwood because the Masters Grand Final took place at Closehouse. Lee was there for that. So really good the fact that he's taking a little bit of time out from his playing schedule. He does have a schedule this day, results that competition, 18 under Joe Roy won with a net 68. Under 15s, Oliver Goodison, 67. Best scorer in the 12, Abigail net 63, and second with a 64, George Courage. So just to give you an idea about how that competition works, they've had 9 events in started late May, right the way through until September. Nottinghamshire, Northumberland, Yorkshire, Lancashire, Durham, Cumbria, Lincolnshire, and also they had one event up in Fife as well. So really well done to all those for playing, for hosting events as well. Just finally, other side of the RSC, then a couple of events over there. The All-Star Under 8 Boys Open Championship took place in golf. I think we might have a photo as well. Sean King won the from Ryanstown. He shot with the trophy, 66 75, finished on 3 won by one shot from Kieran Murphy, 72. And also in Ireland as well, they had the Ireland Junior Medal Wood Club. Cameron 42 points, Holberts from Queevy Gerarty. So like I say, it's a 42 points from winning that competition. So that wraps up the junior golf news. We've got a massive news story, which is our podcast. We're going to be looking at the Faldo Series. Just want to ask you, because obviously we've not got Matthew or Nick on to talk about the series. The background of what exactly it is, because it is a huge event. Lots of qualifiers in the UK and overseas as well, and obviously you've covered some of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's arguably the biggest junior golf tournament in the world, isn't it? Really, you know, there's amateur ranking points up for grabs. There's DP World Tour starts. There's Ladies European Tour starts up for grabs. I mean, there's everything, isn't there? Really, and as we know, Sadiq Faldo, it's 26 years or 27 years now. I think it's 26th year. I mean, that's something quite special. And so Nick started it all, didn't he? Really, you know, I know we've got more tours now, the Robert Rock Junior Tour and Stephen Gallagher, and we've got even more. You know, we've got the Clutch Junior Tour, we've got the 2020 Pro Tour Junior Tour, but it really started with Sir Nick Faldo, and it's really grown. Certainly the multiple age categories. I mean, I remember last year's grand final. It was 2 grand finals merged into one because the 24th grand final had been postponed due to COVID. So I was there on the final day trying to figure out 2 grand final results. We had about 8 final groups coming down the 18th, and trying to broadcast it and work it all out was a challenge. But it just seems to be going from strength to strength. It's great to have it back over at Elaine again, wasn't it? Because obviously last year it was at Brocket Hall, which is probably why I got an invite because it's not too far away. I didn't get an invite this year. Not that bitter. I'm not. But no, it really is. It is getting huge, and I will say to Matthew, if he's watching, congratulations, because it was another superb grand final. Not that I was there.
No, you're there. Right, we're going to bring on our guest. So Max Witt is going to be going live to the show. Before we bring Max on, though, let's give us a bit of about what this event was all about, who was playing, Series, which I all players who are taking part in it from Europe, across the UK, Ireland, Europe, America, Africa. So it's a massive field. Just to give you a flavor, this is what it's all about. These are the players who, and this is and these are the players.
Let's hope we've got the right video.
Absolutely.
Wow,
That's the player.
Steve, sort of memories of. I'll tell you, memories with that music are coming out of Liquid nightclub at 2 a.m. in the morning with sounds like that. Oh dear, brilliant.
Back over. So yeah, but yeah, obviously that's the players who by the way, wondering they all wear clothing on the first day. So that's the reason they're wearing the same. Which a photographer as a video journalist, the backside trying to recognise players and trying to figure out who's who because they're all wearing the same colours. Good fun. Get one of them on. Max Weaver was playing in the we saw a photo of him as part of that. Like he said, let's get Max on. We'll have a chat with him about his experience of being out in the UAE.
Here he is, Max. That was some picture, wasn't it? That profile picture, that for you, that one, wasn't it? In that video.
Yeah, I mean, it could be definitely. I think I need to up on the tan though.
Yeah. Well, there was no excuse because it was still hot out there, wasn't it, Max?
Yeah, it was very hot, and Dad and I were definitely on the bronzer, number 6, and that picture doesn't do me justice. So you should have stayed around for the last day, and I think you would have got a better one.
I would have, Max, but I didn't get invited. So,
yeah, you just didn't quite get that one, did you?
Just so you guys, that it was raining over here. Just so you guys know that.
Yes. Now let's talk about the Max. Give us an idea how you qualify. You're one of the, I think, ever who's qualified twice in the same year.
Yeah, so I was actually lucky enough to qualify twice. The first event that I played on the Faldo was the Midland one at the Asprey, and it was very tight after the first 2 rounds. I think we were all hovering around 3 or 4 over, and then on the last round at the Asprey, the greens got so fast. There was a lot of wind, so they dried them out, and they must have been pushing 11 and a half. And in England, as you know, that's quite quick. So on the last round on the back 9, I managed to have a quick spin of a birdie and an eagle back to back, and that kind of put me in the mix, and managed to just get it done by a couple.
Was then one at Northumberland you already got?
Yeah, so I didn't know of anyone who'd won twice. My brother has won consecutive years, the last 2 years at Kettleston Park, but I hadn't known of anyone to win 2, so I thought this is actually a chance to kind of see what we can do now, and I managed to do enough to force myself into a playoff, and the playoff went my way, so I got lucky, but it was good golf.
Make your own luck, Max. Make your own luck, mate.
Absolutely. Obviously, so you're out in the UAE, you got the flight out there that you looked after when you got there. So that practice day, first practice day, we've got some photos from that practice day. First of all, one of the things you need to do is you need to pick your playing partner as well. So just explain why you picked this person.
Yeah, so this is my dad, for anyone who doesn't realise, who can't see the correlation. He's about 5'5" and I'm about 6 foot, so there's definitely something in that. But that's my dad. He wanted to jump on and he came with me for the trip. And I think you can see the hole was only about 140 yards, 150 yards, but he's got a 5-iron in the hand, so he's not the longest hitter.
and I think he was as well, wasn't it?
It was short. You can definitely remember it. It was short. You're not wrong.
Now, just based on what you want to do with those practices, because as we can see, that's the girls there. But it was hot out there, and that's one of the things you need to bear in mind as well when you're playing in a country like that, and the kind of things that you need to learn during that practice day.
Exactly that. The heat was kind of unbearable at some bits, but it does get warm out there. So I had a lot of electrolytes. I was quite well planned actually, having loads of fluids and the water stations every couple of holes. But in those practice rounds, you're trying to digest as much information as possible. Actually, when we arrived at Elaine Golf Club, Dad and I walked onto the putting green and we thought, is this real? This kind of looks like AstroTurf. That's how kind of pure it was. And obviously with that, you can see different types of grain that I hadn't experienced before, and the grass is just so perfect. So what I learned in the practice round was striking the ball on the fairway into grain. You've got to be very careful because you can get under it and hit it high in the face and it doesn't go anywhere. So that was a big take from the practice round.
Also, I mean, they're hitting out of a bunker as well. The bunker have too much sand in them, so you have to be very careful there, didn't you?
You did, yeah. With that, I had a bit of a different situation. Even though there was less sand in the bunker, I thought it was more used to have a higher bounce wedge around the green. So I actually used my higher bounce wedge. But as you can see, there's not much sand coming out. So keeping it really shallow and the club shallow before impact was so important. And if you were short-sided, it was hard to get it close because you were just kind of hoping you could kind of land it near the flag and then roll out to 15, 20 feet and try and make the putt.
All right, now that's your experience of how you qualified and also what you were doing with your practice. Here today, we had a chat with Anna Dawson and had a chat with her about what things she did and how did you qualify for the tournament.
So I played in a qualifier in Wales at Rhuddlan in the end of August. So it was kind of like one of my last events really of the year. So I just kind of, my sister had played it before. So I was like, yeah, well, I'm not going to have anything to play all winter. So I was just like, I'd like to go out to Dubai in November if I could qualify. So yeah, I played in the last one.
And then obviously you got through to the grand final. What were your expectations going through to it then?
I mean, a couple people actually asked me that before I went, because I think some people weren't too sure like what the standard was like or like just kind of what I was thinking about it, because obviously I hadn't played much competitive golf, but I'd entered Q school so for European Tour in December. So I was actually just using it as a practice for that. I wasn't kind of too bothered about the result or anything. I just wanted a card in my hand again and trying to make a score. So I was like, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to win, but I really wasn't too bothered at all, kind of like result wise, like where I finished. I was just more kind of how can I play, like just get a bit of an idea of where I was up to and what to practice. So when I went out and shot 600 in the first round, I was like, oh, okay, looks like I'm playing okay. Hopefully, like now when I saw I was so close to like the overall, I was like, oh well, it'll be really good to, you know, just do as well as possible in that as well as the girls.
Is that the first time you'd ever been to the UAE?
No, I'd been like, I think it was 4 years ago, but I didn't go out to Ali and kind of stayed in Dubai. We played at the Emirates with my sister. But yeah, I kind of forgot how different the courses are there. I mean, chipping around the greens was really different. The rough would look like the ball was set up so nice, and then you'd go to get like a nice little flyer or a nice strike off it, and it would just turn the club over and go left like it does in the fit rough at home. But yeah, the course was pretty different, but no, it was really good.
And what were you thinking in that practice round? What were you trying to take out of that?
I think a lot kind of focusing around the greens, just because as well, obviously, all credit to the courses here, but they're not great, obviously, during the winter with the weather that we have. So I was just trying to get used to, you know, obviously putting on some greens that are a bit quicker again and on bobbly and hollow-tined and muddy. So just like getting a good roll on it and just like obviously getting a better kind of understanding and feel around the greens, obviously chipping off like the different grass and like it was reacting so differently. So yeah, that really.
And obviously the weather as well, as you mentioned there, trying to cope with the conditions out there, which are very, very different from at home.
So obviously the practice rounds, it was so nice because we got to go out in a buggy. So it was definitely a shock to the system when it got up on the Wednesday morning or whatever it was, and was all of a sudden walking a couple of holes, and I was like, oh my gosh, we've got like another 16 holes of this. Like, how are we going to do that? Obviously carrying a big black bag around with me. But it wasn't really until the back nine that I probably started to feel it a bit really, and got to about 14 and I was like, wow, got a headache, not feeling good. And even then, like I had drank as much water as I think was actually possible. And the girls I was playing with too, it was quite good. No one was kind of embarrassed. Everyone had their towels over their head, was just chucking water on them. So just trying to keep cool. But yeah, that was the hardest thing. And I remember actually I came in after the first day and all the girls were like, oh, we're going to the pool. And I was like, I can't, like I need to get out of the sun. And I actually slept all the way up until dinner, went down, had some dinner, came back and then slept all night and woke up the next morning and was like, I'm still tired. Like, I don't know if I can go back out in that. So yeah, that was hard to make an adjustment to, but I feel like you shouldn't complain about being able to wear a t-shirt and skirt really this time of year at the same time.
Now, that's obviously Anna talking about her experience of the programs. Actually, when you got into that first round, then Max, how did you play? What was your scoring like in that first day?
Yeah, I didn't post the greatest number, shooting one over on the first day, but the game plan was to be kind of mad aggressive, because the golf course really did suit a longer hitter and someone who could make a load of birdies. So getting as far down on the fairways as possible was important. And I shot a 1-over on the first day. It put me quite a few shots behind, but it was the best with what I had. I wasn't quite there with everything in my game.
I think he might have a photo actual leaderboard after that opening day, and just did the standard of play. Did that surprise you how good the scoring was on the opening day?
There you go. That doesn't surprise me because I'm not on it. But yeah, we can see Jamie. Jamie had an absolute flyer on the first day, shooting 7 under, and fair dues to him. Everyone kind of says like, yeah, it's scoreable. Yeah, you can get it going, but you still have to go and shoot 63, 64. So there's some great scores there.
When you're playing a 54-hole tournament, and like you say, you're 8 off the tee after that, how does the mentality change in the second and third round?
Yeah, I think personally, you just got to always stay in it. It's just shot by shot. You can't control what the others are doing. It's not making silly mistakes, and you just got to try and fight your way into it. You can easily lose it on the second and third round trying to chase it, and then putting yourself even further away, and then you can't finish anywhere. So just keep staying in it.
And was it a case as well as of adapting, learning from competition, particularly playing that heat? Because as Anna mentioned, first day, practice day, you got the buggy, second day, suddenly different in the golf.
Yeah, exactly that. As Anna said, sleeping was a big thing, and as soon as I got into bed, I was out straight away through the whole night. So it was very draining, and with the different conditions, it was a lot to deal with out there. You gotta be on your food, you gotta be on your water. Cold towels were very, very helpful, and yeah, having the buggies on the first day were very good because you didn't get actually that tired. But once you walked it, you really realised that this is a test, not just golf wise, but physically on the body.
So we're bring Anna again. I just want to ask you the same question I asked. What were your thoughts when you got into that second? How approaching it from the first round?
Yeah, so being quite a few shots back, as you can see, I thought, right, let's just go out and just try and tear the golf course apart. I didn't quite do that, but I managed to shoot a decent number, and the game plan was, trying as many fairways as far down there as possible and see how the wedges are. And again, if the putter gets hot, that's where it's at.
So let's hear what Anna had to say. The same question with her. What were her thoughts going into that second round?
I just wasn't kind of expecting really to shoot 6 under. I know I spoke to like a few of the girls after the practice round, and no one actually thought it was that scoreable. Like we all kind of thought. I remember I said to the girls I played a practice round with at the end, I was like, so what do you think of the course? And they were like, oh, like I think it's quite tricky just because of like the rough, and like there was a few like long holes there too, and especially like the par 5s weren't necessarily all gettable into, like 10 was quite long. And yeah, so we were all kind of like, yeah, I think there'll definitely be a few drop shots and stuff. So even after I'd shot 6 under, I was like, okay, obviously I know a score's out there, but I had played pretty well. So I was like, I'm not going to get kind of too complacent with it, because I was like, I feel like that course, you could still make a few bogeys out there. So yeah, then when I started bogey the next day, I was like, oh, there they are. Like I knew they were obviously about. So yeah, luckily enough, obviously I kind of steadied up a bit, and it helps when a couple birdies on the back 9. But yeah, I definitely was going to go out there and do it again. Like I knew it was going to be a bit more tricky than that, especially with, I was definitely struggling with the sun from a day before still.
Obviously, that's Anna talking about her second round. Did you actually get on the second round then, Max? What was your scoring?
Yeah, so -3 second day. So it kind of, as we said, I was kind of out of it after the first day, but I managed to put myself kind of not quite there, but I managed to make a little bit of a move and get a little bit closer. But the big boys did really stretch away.
I think Ian might be able to put up the actual score after the second round, and as you mentioned, scoring continued to be really good in it.
Yeah, it did. I mean, as you can see, 12 under and 11 under, leading the pack. So that's a pair of low 60s rounds from both of those boys, and that's where it's at. The game now is to go as low as possible, and as you can see, the boys managed to go low there. So fair plays to them. Great scoring.
Now, obviously, after that second round, actually after the first round and the second round, there was clinics which were put on. You know, the Faldo Series is not just about playing the event as well. They try and give extra things for the players to experience when you're out there. Fanny Sunnison was there, who of course, for people who are unaware, used to be caddy during his very successful professional career. I think she was his caddy, I think, for 6 of his major wins, 5 of them. And obviously, Sir Nick did a couple of sessions. Have a photo of a couple of photos of when he was doing some things. What out of those sessions that helped you?
Yeah, so Fanny was great. I've actually done quite a bit of caddying this year, working at the Ladies European Tour event at Centurion, and also caddying for one of my friends in qualifying school. So I've kind of seen it from behind the scenes and kind of a high level, but obviously I haven't had quite the experience that Fanny's had with Sir Nick. So she gave us a really good insight into some practice drills, some ways to think, how relationships are, and that's been really important because obviously you're playing golf and you also got someone on the bag, so you want to make sure you like them.
Absolutely. Let's take from because she's something very similar to which Fanny said, surprise and how to be able to learn that experience, even just, but also as well. Let's hear from Anna.
Yeah, no, I went to both of them. It was really obviously interesting to hear them both. Like, obviously heard so much about both of them, like Fanny as well. And yeah, it was good. And when she was talking about the course, and there was definitely things I like took on board for like the next couple of days when we were playing. I mean, yeah, it was just interesting to hear it from such like a different perspective, and yeah, it was good. And then when we watched when we got to watch Nick hit balls as well, it was yeah, it was just interesting to kind of hear what we had to say. I think it was funny because everyone was so obsessed with him trying to hit this stinger, and I think in the grand scheme of things, he knew there was a lot more important things that we probably could have asked. And obviously, eventually, he got onto them topics, and then, you know, I think people were a bit like, "Oh, okay, yeah, there is like a lot more to golf than just like hitting this like shot." But yeah, it was really just insightful, and it was really cool to just, you know, be in the presence and, you know, see someone who's been at the top of the game for so long.
And as you mentioned at the start, you're obviously looking to move on to the Ladies European Tour as well. So what did you learn as far as hopefully being able to do that later this year?
I think obviously like just hearing like Fanny speak as well, like the importance of having a caddy, like, and that like relationship, because obviously you spend so much time with them, and they can help your game so much, but at the same time they can hurt your game too. So I think it was interesting to hear some of the things she said, because I mean, I know in the past I thought she was going to say what a caddy could do to be better, and then she also said some of the things a player could do, and I was like, wait, no, they should do what I want them to do, like I'm the player. And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to be a bit more understanding as well. So yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, I need to be a bit more open to criticism maybe when I'm on the golf course in future. But yeah, it was good to kind of hear about, you know, that side of it, because I think it can be quite easily overlooked. At the end of the day, you're always just wanting to do as best as you can on the golf course and how you're going to make your swing better and score better. But yeah, that's such a big element that I think can be overlooked quite easily.
So going into that final day, then thoughts overnight, and obviously you had a big lead, particularly in the girls section. Stood on that first tee then, and so Nick Faldo's there watching you. Are you nervous? Well, what are your thoughts when that's happening?
Obviously, I was playing with the guys on the last day, so that was a bit different. The two girls that I played with, I played them on the first day, and they were 8 back, but like they were good golfers for sure. So I was kind of like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them shot like a good score. So I was like, I still need to go out and play well. But yeah, obviously the added pressure. So Nick stood behind the tee, and the boys have just bombed it down the fairway a lot further than obviously what the girls hit it. So I was like maybe feeling the pressure a little bit. No, it was the first wasn't great, but then I played really nicely after that for the front nine. I mean, it was probably the worst I could have shot. Like I just didn't get it going on the greens at all. But yeah, I felt like I was pretty in control the whole time. Like I didn't feel like I kind of let it get away from me at all. So
in some respects, did it help the fact that you were playing with a couple of boys as opposed to a couple of players who were in your category? Did that help?
I'm not sure. I think there was obviously positives to it each girls, and I did have an 8-shot lead. I think it would have been very easy to just be so defensive because I just didn't want to obviously drop back to them. And then you're just so cautious of what they're doing. Whereas obviously when I played with the guys, I was just like, well, obviously you just get on with your own game. And because they were also like trying to challenge that last group behind us as well, it was quite good because we were all in such a mindset, like everyone was just trying to make birdies. So it was good. But then at the same time, once I kind of got onto the back nine, I had dropped a couple from playing really well. And then I was just like, I was quite like, oh, well, I wonder how everyone else is getting on. Like, I don't know if this is like a decent score today, because I was wary, like, as the week was going on, everyone was getting tireder. And the couple of the lads that I were playing with, like, none of us were going like low. Like, we were all just kind of hovering around par, really. So I was like, it was just hard to tell. So there was this to both, but the guys were really nice. And yeah, it's also nice to just kind of like see them play and just the course played differently, and it was good. It kept me playing my own game because the wind was a bit different on some of the holes, and sometimes it's so easy to look at what the girls you've played with have hit, and obviously they weren't there. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to kind of trust what I've got and get on with it. So yeah, I think it probably worked out maybe for the better.
So we're talking about the round in the third round. We mentioned there that Nick Faldo was there watching on the day. I don't know whether he had to see the backs, but in that third round, were you think?
Well, there we go. We've lost him again. He will be back. He will be back, though. I can assure you of that, Max. But I think he was going to start talking about that third round and pressure, Max. It really gets to on the third round, doesn't it? How are you feeling? How are you handling it?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, less pressure for myself, obviously being quite a few back, but obviously you want to try and do well, and if you can get within 4 or 5 with 9 to play, even 6 sometimes, if they kind of make a few bogeys and you kind of bogey those holes, you're kind of looking at 2-shot swings. So I'm trying to get myself as close as I can, but I had too many bogeys on the front nine, which bounced back with birdies on the front nine as well, but they were too damaging to kind of put me really in it.
You didn't see Sir Nick peeking out the trees with the binoculars watching or something? Did you see how you're getting on?
No, I didn't have Sir Nick. I had Fanny and a couple of the Swedish teams following because they were following Didrik, who I played with. And he actually managed to hole out from 178 meters on the second, so everyone was going nuts for that.
Wow. God, not bad at all. Steve, are you back? Can you hear us?
I was going to say, actually, during that round, you said that Nick didn't actually at any, but were you conscious of the fact that he might be looking at you, you might even be watching you? Were you with that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you get a multi-time major champion watching you, obviously there's going to be a little bit of nerves, but again, you gotta take it in your stride, and you gotta try and play shot by shot as easy as that is to sound. That is what you're trying to do as a player. So you just kind of pull the shot off, and obviously if you pull it off well, you might even get a clap. So it's probably a bonus.
Max, are you aware then when you're going around on that final round? I always find this fascinating with sports people. You look. Do you know what's going on around? Are you aware of the leaderboard, or are you laser focused, just play your own game? Because I often think when I hear sports stars, they always say the same thing. They always say, "No, I just focus on myself. Just focus on myself." I'm like, do you? Do you start to play the leaderboard a little bit?
I mean, look, I was quite a few behind, so I kind of had a look and see where I was, and I saw that I was kind of 7-8 behind going into the back nine or so. But to your point, I think people do probably lie about it. I mean, everyone wants to know what's going on. You're watching what your playing partners are doing. The couple of boys I played with in the last round, they were flying on the front nine. They had a couple of a 3-under and a 4-under, I think. So they were obviously kind of looking around and seeing what was going on. So I think everyone's kind of looking at the scores because you're there to do as best you can. So you want to try and know where you can go, and try and use that as your advantage and try and make some more birdies.
And it'll influence how you play, won't it? If you, like you say, if you are sort of 6-7 shots back, you might think, well, if I was 1 or 2 off, then I might play a long iron here, but no, I'm going to get a big stick out instead.
Exactly. I mean, on that back nine, that Elaine, the 14th hole, played about 300 yards a little bit downwind, so it was very, very accessible. But some players, Didrik, he decided to play 2-iron off the tee and try and wedge it on and make birdie that way. Other players, he was a little bit higher up the leaderboard, and I chose to hit driver. We both made 4 in the end, but that's kind of the difference, isn't it? Because you're really trying to get in the hunt and take on a more aggressive shot than others that might be a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, Steve.
Can I say as well that you were taking your play? There we go. About the other 8 categories, we take notice of they weren't really against. We used to see how some of the other players, in particular the English players, the British players, were getting on.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, you know, it's not nice losing to someone a lot younger than you. I get probably enough of it because Tyler's always winning things, and I can kind of relate to it. So, yeah, when I saw the leaderboard and the boys were around 3 under, and look, I managed to beat them by 1, the younger ones, but I only by 1, so I can say that they didn't quite do me this time. It was close.
Now we have photos as well. I don't know whether you watched it, but there was a for the boy in the 16 show. Did you watch that, Max?
We did manage to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just put some of the photos just to describe what happened. 3 players for the Bolton, Lucky Cruz and Michael Lugiano, and so they all level. It creates the 18th par 5 hole. That's unfortunately he missed the putt from about 4 or 5 feet. At that moment, when you're watching that match, you kind of like you think, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I know Ben quite well, and obviously he was really trying to win that event. So, yeah, it does hurt. But that's the thing with the playoff. It's kind of like who can kind of go lights out under the pressure, and the other 2 boys managed to make 2 birdies, and a par wasn't enough for Ben.
I love that photo just on the basis. Look at the support background. Because the very important one on the far left is Lucky's mum, I think it is. The one in the middle is Lucky's uncle, and the how do I say it? The larger gentleman, that's Michael's father. So 3 people there from the side. You know about your dad, but how difficult is it, and how aware are you that we do have supporters there who are feeling it, and how they're feeling them there?
Yeah, I mean, you probably get some mums and some parents that are probably more nervous than the kid is to do well. So you can always see it walking around. You can kind of see how different people and different parents react. But in terms of the final, I could hear from the buggies watching that both of the parents were both supportive and fair. There was no kind of ignorance or anything, and everyone just wants kind of a fair result, and that's what it came down to on the 2 playoff holes.
Yeah, so there was, like I say, dropped out in the first hole. The second playoff hole, they played the 18th again. He then had a par and managed to 2 putts to win it. I'm credit to him because he hit the green twice. We saw him looking at the initial photo that was the first playoff hole where he left his putt agonisingly short, which when you're in that position, you win in a playoff to win one of the tournaments early of the year. That feel as if this me opportunity here.
Yeah, I mean it is definitely relatable. He hit a great putt. He was caught 35 feet away, and I watched it, and it was rolling end over end, and it just stopped, and everyone kind of sighed and went, "Oh, that was close." He was impressive. He managed to knock it on the green twice on a pretty long par 5. Sorry. He hit driver hybrid into it both times, and both in the middle of the fairway, middle of the green. So 4 great golf shots. But yeah, it's not easy to accept kind of shots like that because it just needed one more roll. It wasn't like it was a really, really bad shot. He hit a great shot, and it just wasn't quite enough.
Now, for those who obviously also saw the photo of the 2 playing, the 2 Americans as well, which finished second, and obviously from who just missed that playoff. Those who aren't aware, hopefully we've got this video of Lucky, because we actually, I think, featured him on this podcast earlier this year. Let's see if we can show this video. He's got a bit of a character about it. You had a chance to talk to it, but let's see if we can show this video. Hopefully Ian's got it for us.
I think I have it. It's I don't want to give it too much away. Is it the DJ one?
Yes.
There you go. Watch this.
For those who are aware, that was actually the US Masters. Obviously, DJ was defending champion earlier this year. If you saw him, the B sign behind DJ's back, I actually spoke. He said he was going to try to stick as well, but I don't think he actually got around to managing to do it there. But actually, when they do meet these people from different countries, Max, how inspiring, how good is it to actually meet people from different countries? Because, as we mentioned right at the start, from continents, not just different countries, but different continents playing.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, different continents, completely different countries, different cultures, different types of golf courses, different types of players. There's loads of things that kind of come into the equation. And meeting people is absolutely great because you can make contacts everywhere. I've now got new friends from that event, and we've kind of spoke a little bit about their training, where they're going, if they're going to America, if they're staying at home, going to turn pro. So it's really nice to meet people, and you can make a really strong network around that, and try and help each other with different things.
We've covered the under 16 championship. That was one event which was finished. The overall, the under 21s dominated the scoreboard at the top of the leaderboard there. So I think we've got a short video which was put together the final scoreboard, video as well, just about what happened towards the end as well, which we might play, and also with the winner after the competition as well. So if Ian's got the video, hopefully, fingers crossed. Widescreen there, wasn't it? They're quite that wide there. And also, the actual winner of the competition, we showed the people then very close finish as well. Were you watching as they came in?
I didn't see much of the boys. I saw them on the last green, holding out, and I think there was only a couple of shots in it on the last, and then it managed to extend it to 3 shots. But interestingly enough, none of them actually hit the green in 2. I don't believe so. If you compare it to under 16 boys, in the playoff holes, they were knocking on, but the older boys kind of laid up. So again, circumstances kind of change. If they didn't hit a great tee shot, they might have been somewhere else, and they couldn't actually go at the green.
Now let's hear from the champion then, which was Tin Chang. I think he's certainly an Asian player. I'm not sure which country he was from. I think we've got an interview with him afterwards, talking about how pleased he was to win the tournament.
The first 2 days was very, very good, and today was a little bit off. I mean, yeah, I'm holding the lead, and on number 9 I had a lost ball, so it's kind of off for what my plan was. But yeah, I did a lot of self-talk to myself after that, and yeah, try to get some birdies after that. On the last few holes, the score was pretty narrow, and I know the score, so I kind of just do a lot of deep breath and just talk to myself, and that's fine. Just do what you can do and try to make birdies. When I find out that I won, and my emotion is pretty happy because I can play with all the good players around the world, and I beat them. So yeah, it's a good experience.
So I also mentioned he's from Taiwan, the guy who finished in 4th place, one of the partners on that final. So Aaron, he's also from Taiwan as well. He ran finished 2nd from Scotland and did and played from Sweden, finished in 3rd place. Let's have a look at that final lead, because there is a special name on there as well. There we go, bottom there. So how important was that to get yourself?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of marketing, it's always nice to actually be kind of on the screenshot. I managed to, as soon as we got in the clubhouse and I saw I was 10th, I thought I might as well get a picture of it, because I am on the leaderboard, and it's something to look back at, obviously, and see where we can move forward. But as you can see, the scoring was pretty impressive. 13 under, 197 shots for 54 holes is pretty good shooting. So a really, really, really fun tournament, and well done.
I've got an into. Obviously, that wasn't the end of it. There was an evening do as well, whereby they had a buffet meal and then a presentation as well. We showed a photo as well there, whereby there was a found out to Nick, whereby we had the session whereby he did something in front of them. There they are, the them. How was that actually to get your questions to him and the answer as well, and what from that?
Yeah, Anna actually mentioned it earlier. Everyone was so obsessed with the stinger shot on the range when Sir Nick was giving us a clinic on the golf swing that we didn't actually talk about that much. We had a couple of questions about wedges and kind of how we shape shots, but everything was about the stinger. So this was actually time to write down a few questions, and there were some great questions asked, routines that he did, how his mindset was kind of on and off the course, how he'd work with the early tee time and late tee time. So it was nice to have a little bit more relaxed and everyone sitting down where he could really kind of voice his opinion. And it was great to hear from such a prestigious player.
And obviously after that, there was the presentation. Let's just hear from Anna, because she won the girls 21 category. Let's hear how she felt about going up there and picking up those prizes.
Oh, that was really nice. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, getting presented it by Sir Nick, and the girls who everyone had been there with that week. They were all really and dead supportive and cheering and stuff. So they were all being really nice about it. Obviously, as well, it could be my last competition as an amateur. So, that's also like a really nice way, if it is, to kind of finish it off like that. So, yeah, no, it was really special. It's also, presentations aren't always like that for golf. You're coming in course like you're all a mess. Like you kind of haven't really processed stuff yet. You've just rushed off from signing your cards to go to a presentation, and half the people have already left because they haven't done very well. So it was nice to actually be able to go up and enjoy the evening a bit and everyone be there for it.
And not only that as well, but representing the Isle of Man, which presumably there aren't too many golfers on the Isle of Man who have gone and won those types of competitions.
No, there's not. That was really nice. Like when we pulled up on the first day after getting from the airport, and obviously they had their flags at the front, and more often than not, I just get an English flag next to my name, which is nice. But I'm Manx, so getting there and seeing the three legs up next to the Australian flag and England and Scotland and all them, like it was really nice. And I sent a picture to my mum at home and everyone was absolutely loving it. And then there was a little Manx flag next to my name on the lead. Yeah, that's really nice. From home, love that as well. Just seeing our little Manx flag kind of getting thrown out there with all the big countries. So that was pretty nice too. It's always nice getting to represent them.
One of the prizes for winning the event, I think, am I right in thinking I think it's a tour start, is that correct?
It is. I'm not too sure whether it'll be in Access or LET. I know last year Faye got a European tour start, so that would be really nice to get, especially as I spoke to Toby afterwards, and I think he said if I turn pro I could still get that, so that would be a really nice little bonus too. So yeah, kind of hoping it will be LET, but either way, there's been a couple nice perks to winning that. I got quite a bit of publicity back home, obviously, with Isle of Man, everyone loved that. And then just as well with it being you get the Asia final too. So if I don't go pro at least, or if I don't turn until later in the year, there's a couple more kind of just options and new things to do, because it's just so much travel and different experiences. You can't you can't ask for much better than that.
So obviously talking about her experience and what she took out of it. What did you take out of it, Max? Because it must have been a fabulous experience from start to finish.
Yeah, it's nice that you've dropped in a winner, because obviously I haven't got the start to look forward to or the trip, but maybe next time. From the week itself, obviously, as soon as you land in Dubai, the heat. So learning about the heat, learning about the weather, how to deal with it, and definitely the course. The course suited different shots that I had to learn. I didn't quite have them when I went out there, so that's something I took from it. Also, meeting all the players has been great. I've made new connections, new networks, new coaches, spoke to Sir Nick for a little bit, and he spoke to me personally, which was something that you can't buy. And all in all, how everything was run, from the food, the hotel, the golf course, the facilities, the people, and obviously the best cameraman in the world. So we were absolutely fine.
Yeah, the video obviously wasn't there, unfortunately, but yeah, the camera wasn't too bad. So just give us an idea about, we're obviously a manner there, but she's hoping to go and play she will be playing in Q School later this year. What are your plans for the future, and how do you think that the Faldo Series will help that?
Yeah, so it's been a great week. Actually being in Abu Dhabi, I've actually come from Portugal. I'm currently at Edge Golf College, so that's a high performance program where we're based in Portugal, just kind of north of the Algarve. So we've got 2 more events out here, and we play in a run of 5 events before the end of March for a Portugal Masters start. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And the first event is on the 22nd to the 24th of November. So I've got a little bit of time to get prepped here and try and get all my schoolwork done.
Obviously important. It takes seconds. Or does it? I don't know. Tell me, what is your target?
You just slightly broke up there.
What are your targets? You looking to make it as a professional golfer? Is that what your aim is?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just got to, as a kind of decent amateur, you just got to keep going and see where you can go. My plan next year is to kind of really turn up to the big events and see how we can get on, kind of travel a little bit more, kind of overseas stuff, and try and play in the big power tournaments. But end goal obviously is to turn pro and make it as a professional, playing on the European tour or whatever that could be. But that's the goal, and see if we can get close to that and even achieve it. As Fanny said when she was speaking to us, it's all about little goals. So step by step.
That's something that we take pride as well, didn't it? Q&A is that you don't even have to tell people what your goals are. I don't expect you to tell me what your goals are, but and presumably that's what you are doing.
Exactly, and I think it's little goals in different areas. You've got your physical element, you've got your mental element, you've got your tactical element, you've got your technical element. So as long as you keep ticking boxes and you keep going at it, which is what I'm doing, and I'm in the process of making these steps, then we can see what happens.
I'm asking, how old are you, Max?
19, I am.
You've got another couple of years left in the Faldo Series in its current format. I think that will actually be open at the under-25 next year. So is this part of your process of playing more events next year?
Yeah, definitely. With obviously the big national and international tournaments, the Faldo Series is ranked up there. So there's some good points up for grabs for the World Amateur Golf rankings, and obviously it'd be nice to win 2 again. See if we can go back to back and taking the double. So I'll definitely be competing in the Faldo Series, and I believe there's some good news coming out soon with the Faldo Series. So we look forward to that.
I'm sure we'll have that on with the latest. Really appreciate your time this evening coming along and obviously talking about the Faldo Series, and also Anna earlier as well, who as you mentioned won the won a start. The winners go through the Grand Final as well. It's Thailand. Presumably that's which obviously you make it, but that's something which you would have gone and played. Just out of interest, is this the first time you've played in outside Europe?
No, it's not the first time I've played. Actually, yeah, you're all right. It is the first time I played outside of Europe. Tyler's actually been to Jakarta for the World Junior Championship. So yeah, it's the first time I've been out of Europe for a big tournament. Obviously, what a great one it was with Sir Nick being there.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a final thought, if there are people watching this who maybe yourself looking to possibly play in their first series event, let's say on it for we'll do a job for them and for what recommendation to one who's thinking about possibly playing in these events.
Yeah, I mean, the best advice I can give is to go out and enter it. If you feel capable and you got a decent handicap, which I think is under 5, I think, for the boys. for the Faldo Series. So if you're under that category, you've got nothing to lose. And obviously, I've had an absolute great week, and you only need to play three good days of golf in a 54-hole event, and that's it. And then you've managed to win a trip to Abu Dhabi. So that's how you need to look at it. Keep practicing, keep speaking to your coaches, and then go from there and enter.
All right. Well, best of luck for the rest of this year in Portugal, and obviously for years to come as well. Just a quick mention for the next Progress Junior Golf podcast, which we're going to be doing in 2 weeks' time, and we're going to do a massive subject within junior golf, because we're going to be talking about safety in junior golf. So obviously, and I'm not just talking about making sure you don't need a cameraman here. I'm talking about different things here as far as safety is concerned in junior golf. So, thanks very much, Max. Thanks for Anna. Thanks so much for the team on the Faldo Series, not just at the Grand Final, throughout the year as well. I think you'll agree with me as well, Max. The hospitality of the UAE was fantastic. Well done to everyone who looked after us.
I wouldn't know, Steve. I wouldn't know. Just on that about hospitality over there, I wouldn't know.
Well,
hang on.
Looked after the people.
Just looking to see if me invites fallen down. Still looking. I spent this last hour looking for me invite. I can't find it.
Yeah.
I haven't found it yet.
I'm sure there's one. I'm sure the Asian layer in time over in April. I'm sure there's been an invite for that day.
Lost in the post, I think. Postal strike.
Absolutely. All right, thanks for everyone. Have a good evening, and I shall see you in a couple of weeks' time.